Um, so that was the thing.
My head
Listen.
hurts.
um, I don't know if it's because I'm all congested or what, but that was a fever dream of an episode. But welcome and coming at you live with another one for all you Biconics wrestling nerds out there. And welcome to the Table for Two plus You Electric Boogaloo review for this week's Impact Wrestling for October 12th, 2023. I am one of your hosts, Mikey. Joined with me always is my lovely co host, Will. Unfortunately, we are missing our third member, Andrew, but fear not, he will be back in time. And we're kind of switching places because I won't be here next week, but Andrew will be back for the go home show before Bound for Glory, which listen, I'm excited for Bound for Glory, but again, this week was so weird because like nothing really progressed the stories into Bound for Glory, and it was really weird.
Which has me a little worried for the go home show. It
Yeah,
really does. Because, we know what's all going to be at Bound for Glory. So what's the go home show going to be about?
that's very very fair. I mean, we have the whole entire card down for Bound for Glory, and if we really wanted to, we could do predictions. But I'm gonna let my co-host save that for the go home show next week. But again, a lot of I enjoyed some stuff on this episode.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if this was a regular episode towards like a regular pay per view, I would have been like, okay, this is pretty good. Like, I enjoyed it. But the fact that this is building up to one of your big four pay per views, which is Bound for Glory, this really didn't progress too much, and I was confused.
Yep. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I really didn't. I was telling Mikey before we started recording that I think I could have not watched this episode and not really missed anything. I'm sorry, what did you just say? Hold on, everyone stop. Everyone shut up. Shut up. I mean, honestly, it's like I literally was thinking back, going, well, maybe, no. Maybe other than the main event, maybe, but other than that, but even that's sort of like, duh. So yeah, this
I
episode it
don't
was
know.
weird. It was a weird episode. It was just weird. To me, it was just weird.
Right. And again, we'll talk more about it section by section. So we kick off Impact this week with the Impact World Tag Team Championship match where the Rascals they defended their titles against Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. See, okay. The big problem I have with Impact is while I do love that they like bulk record a bunch of episodes to be released on weekly television, the problem with all this is the fact that, the wrestling news tells us about who's staying, whose contract is up, and all that stuff. So literally, we knew like a week and a half ago that Sami Callihan's contract with Impact was up, and so he is now a free agent. So I saw this and I was like, oh, he's definitely not winning this match. So him and Rich Swann are going to lose this match since his contract is up and he's no longer working exclusively for Impact, which sucks because the match itself was a lot of fun, and I knew that I was going to get some fun stuff between the Rascals and then Sami and Rich. It's just that because I already knew that Sami is a free agent and is no longer with Impact, I knew that him and Rich weren't going to win those tag titles, nor did I think they were going to anyways. And I think it kind of soured me because I wanted to believe that there was a small possibility they could have won, but I was like, no, they're not going to give the titles to Sami and Rich because Sami's no longer with the company at this point.
Nope.
But I still enjoyed the match. I thought this was a lot of fun. Rich Swann continues to impress me every time he gets in the ring. He's very athletic. He's very quick about it. He's very inventive. And I also really enjoyed our text conversation too. That Rich looked like he knew the spray paint was coming, and he's like,
He
"Do
knew.
it."
Yes, this was because we were texting about it, and I was like, see, How is it that nobody knows that they're going to bring spray paint? It's like literally every time they bring spray paint out, everyone's so surprised. It's like they do it every time, every match, every single match. And then they brought it out in this one, and Rich was all like, "Nope." I was like, "See,
He came prepared. He came
he
prepared. It's like,
knew,
absolutely not.
he knew," and that's like, why is it? Because then that just makes me think that everybody else is just stupid. It's like Rich is the only smart one in the group. He's like, guys, they use spray paint all the time, so be prepared. And he was, and he ducked, and he got. Oh, who's it? God, who was it? Trey got Zach. Was it? Yeah, Trey got Zach.
Yeah,
right?
Trey got Zach.
Yeah, and just oh god, it was great. And when Rich just ducked out, I was like, I laughed out loud for that one. I truly did. I mean, I really enjoyed this match. I really did. It was sort of I'm with you. It's like we knew who was going to win. I mean, because we knew the others couldn't win. So I was like, oh, okay. It's like watching a movie. You already know what the ending's going to be. But the match itself was actually pretty good. I mean, it really was. They played it to the end, and I appreciated it.
I did too. And like I said, I knew Sammy and Rich weren't going to win for a variety of reasons, but I still enjoyed the match for what it was. And because the Rascals ended up winning this one, they will be officially defending their titles against ABC, who are cashing in their Feaster Fired briefcase. So we're getting that title match.
And I think that match is going to be on fire.
Oh, that match I'm looking forward to. ABC versus the Rascals for those titles. That again, like the matches themselves that we're getting for Bound for Glory, I think are going to be awesome. It's just the build has been very lackluster.
It has been. It's been very lame. Ever since the 1000th episode, things have been kind of
from there. Yeah, from there to this point, it's been a really weird build to Bound for Glory. I feel like if the 2-week 1000th episode celebration didn't happen, I feel like we could have used those 2 weeks to flesh out more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't work for the company.
It was just weird.
You guys should hire us, though. I'm just
It feels like we're in an alternate reality. It's like the 1000th episode had happened, and it shifted us all to the mirror universe of Impact Wrestling, and it's just weird. Everything just feels weird right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're in an alternate universe. And speaking of people who are in alternate universes, I was really confused with what is happening with Kenny King's character development right now. So we get this backstage segment with Kenny King and Sheldon Jean. And Kenny King is upset and mad and frustrated. He's just like, no, I haven't seen Scott D'Amore around here for a little bit. But you know what? I was like, I'm tired of people getting in my way. I laughed so hard because Sheldon Jean at one point during this is like, why do you keep blaming other people for your suffering?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yo, he's speaking for me, the audience member. I'm like, Kenny, why are we complaining why are we blaming everybody else? I mean, now listen, the whole Tommy Dreamer situation, I totally understand that.
I get
I get that part. But then everything that happened after that and the matches we got, I was like, listen. I was like, if you really want to get to it, just. And then I was like, oh, is he gonna go blame Joe Hendry again, and then we're gonna pick up their rivalry again, which I'm here for. As a side note, Will discovered Joe Hendry's Entric music video thing earlier in the week. And it was a thing of beauty to watch him watch the thing.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
We love our Scotsmen.
It was super cheesy.
It was super cheesy, and I love it.
It looked good.
That was another thing we talked about. Yep.
Even though he was wearing his kilt a little too low. He wasn't wearing it where it's supposed to be. Where it's supposed to be. I thought that was weird. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just noticed. I was like, your kilt's a little too low on your hips there, buddy. Anyway,
That is very, very fair.
yes,
But
Kenny King was a whiny bitch in this segment. Whiny. I literally have whiny bitch much. It's for Kenny King. Because he was like, wah, wah, boo hoo, boo hoo. You know, Tommy took my lollipop. And I'm just like, oh, God. And it was like, he stems everything back to that. Have you noticed it? It's always because of the Tommy Dreamer thing that he hasn't gotten a break. And I'm like, I don't think that's why you haven't gotten a break. It's like, I like Kenny King. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But this segment, I was just like, literally, give him a pacifier. I just here you go, suck on this and shut up. When you're ready, we'll change your nappy and move on. So yeah, it was just so fun. Yeah, and it was fun. And Sheldon Jean was cracking me up though.
It's like, dude, why are we blaming?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, why are we blaming everybody else for your own failures here? And then we end it because apparently now we're getting some sort of feud because he's like, whose fault it isn't now? It's Heath. Heath is at fault for everything that has happened. I'm like, in what realm does that leap of logic occur? I was like, what is happening? I was like, sure, fine. I'm like, it makes no sense, but whatever. Kenny King is getting
like his kids will be eating beans or something. Is that what he said? His kids will be eating beans when I'm done with him or something. I was
listen. Like, if you're going to threaten violence on people, yeah, I'm like, if you're going to threaten violence on people, do the stereotypical like, I'm gonna leave him so battered he'll have to like eat beans through a straw or something like that.
Yeah,
then
exactly. I was just like, that made no sense.
No, and I was just like, I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
I was at that point. I was trying to figure out what path are we on right now because I'm not really sure. And I mean, because the match happened, and I was like, oh, that was a really good match. And then we go backstage, and I was like, okay, there's Kenny King, and then he starts talking, and it's like woohoo, boohoo, whiny, whiny, whiny. And then Sheldon's like, don't blame other people. You should probably look at yourself, whatever. And then, oh no, I'm just kidding. It all stems back to Heath. Heath's the problem. And it was just like, where are we going with this? I don't understand. And what does this have to do with Bound for Glory? I mean, honestly, this didn't fit anywhere. I didn't understand and I think the reason that it bugs me is that was all we got. There was no tie-in to the rest of the episode. There was no. It was weird. I mean, it was just like, I don't understand what this. Maybe they're going to tie it into the Go Home show. Maybe I don't know, because I didn't get it. I was so confused at that point. I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, this was a weird one, and then it kind of kept getting weirder. Ugh. So we go from one backstage segment to the next one. Gia is interviewing KaLynn King, and Gia's asking KaLynn about why she doesn't like Jody Threat, which I was like, cool, we're getting more women's rivalries, more women's stories, and whatever. Then Santino comes in, and then if you have been watching Impact for a while, because I literally had this question, because then Santino comes in and it's just like, it was you, KaLynn King. You're the one who attacked Taylor Wilde. I was just like, oh my God, I totally forgot that was the thing, because I asked that question because this is how much that they have dropped this story angle, and all of a sudden they brought it back. I was like, because back at, what was it, at Emergence? Yeah, it was back at Emergence during that Fatal 4-Way. Like, it was supposed to be the Coven, which is KaLynn King and Taylor Wilde, but Taylor Wilde got attacked backstage, and she was injured, and she couldn't compete. So Jody Threat stepped in and was KaLynn's partner in that Fatal 4-Way at Emergence. And then after that, we didn't get anything about it. And then all of a sudden, they brought it back here. I was like, oh my God, I forgot that was the thing. Why are we bringing this back all of a sudden? Like, now, Kylan owns it. She's like, yeah, beat her butt. Like, and I was like, yo, girl. I was like, I'm kind of here for it, but like, we're like 4 or 5 weeks out from that situation. It should have happened sooner for the reveal, I guess. But this was so weird, Will. I was just like, what? I was like, they dropped the storyline after Emergence, and then all of a sudden they're picking it back up yet. And I was like, maybe it's because now Taylor is cleared to wrestle, which, we could get a blow off match. But I was like, this was such a weird way to reintroduce this and start a new feud between Kylan and Taylor Wilde. I was just like, I'm here for it, but again, I was so confused. I was like, we just dropped the storyline out of nowhere, and then we're picking it back up like out of nowhere as well.
I literally was just like, I don't what? Because I didn't know any of that, and I was just like, what is? I mean, and the funny thing about it though is that I've been watching Impact for how long now? It's been what, 2 months? No,
Almost,
been more?
yeah. Because you watched, I think you watched one episode, and then I threw you into the Go Home show before Emergence, and then you've been watching ever since.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And I was like, I don't remember this. Did this happen before me? Before my time? This her
No,
taking
okay.
Taylor White?
So let me tell you this. So like Jody Threat got replaced like literally on the pre-show before Emergence. That's how much I forgot that this was a thing until somebody pointed it out to me. I was like, oh, you are absolutely right, because it was supposed to be
Huh.
Taylor Wilde and Kylan King in that fatal four-way for the tag titles at Emergence, but Jody Threat substituted in for Taylor because she got attacked backstage. And if you don't watch the pre-show, nobody would have known that.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the pre-show for that one.
Okay,
That's why
that
I
makes a
was
lot
like,
of sense.
yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't know where this came from. I was so like, what? I was, I was like, I literally was like, did I miss something at the beginning? I had to go back. I went back and rewatched the beginning of it because I thought I missed something. And I was like, no, I didn't miss anything. What the hell are they talking about? Now I know. Okay. So it was at the pre-show before Emergence, right?
But again, I was like, that was like 5, 6 weeks ago, and I was just like, we're just picking up on this again.
And we never touched on it since.
No, and like there was no investigation. Like Jody Threat didn't say, Kylan King, I know what you did last summer type of vibes. Like we got
Yeah.
nothing, and then they brought the story back out. And I was like, okay, maybe Taylor is now clear to go and she is not injured anymore, but like this was not this was not the way I wanted it reintroduced. Like, what is happening?
And especially with no follow-up. Like I don't think they should have given us something else before they did this. Because me, I didn't know. I was literally like, what is this? I was like, wait, what? She took her out with tire iron, and I was like, what? When did this happen? I was like, I thought I was going crazy. I literally thought I was going crazy because I was like,
No. And
how did I
again,
miss
the leaps in logic is crazy here because Jody substituted in, and then Kylan and her had a problem during the match. But then
that?
they
Right,
didn't interact after that match was over. They haven't interacted since, really. And then all of a sudden, Kylan King has an issue with Jody. I'm like, but that was like 6 weeks ago at Emergence. Like, what is
right.
happening? I'm
I
like, you guys
remember the
haven't really
match.
interacted. Yeah.
I remember the match, and I remember that, and I remember them picking her, and everyone's like, "Why did you pick her?" She's like, "You guys aren't friends." And it was that whole thing, that whole, why would you have a partner that you don't trust or
It's
like?
it's a
Yeah.
literally can they coexist pairing.
So I remember that, but I don't remember Taylor getting taken out. I mean, maybe they did they mention it during the regular when Emergent started outside of the pre-show, or was it just pre-show?
I want to
Because I
say
don't
that they
remember that.
mentioned. I think they mentioned it, but it was so brief that I kind of glossed
Okay,
over
maybe I
it.
just missed it. Maybe so. Okay, I just was like, I'm so
But still,
confused. I was
even
like,
still, like this is sloppy storytelling. I was just like,
yeah.
no follow up occurred after that match, and then all of a sudden we're picking it back up. I was like,
All of a sudden,
no,
here we
that's not how
are.
this works.
Yeah, that it made no sense. It made no sense. So I was
And
like, okay.
then And then it still made no sense because next up we had this fatal 5-way match. So last week we covered the really chaotic 10-person tag, and the winning team would go on to have a fatal 5-way where the winner would enter the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory at number 20, and the person that got pinned would enter number 1. Again, we could have reduced this fatal 5-way to realistically for me to down to like 3 people. It should have just been a triple threat between Jordan, Eric Young, and Jake something. Which, by
Yep.
the way, I loved your text to me. As soon as Jake entered, I was just like, immediately agree.
Yeah. I don't remember what I sent you. I have to go look. I sent you so many things.
I remember what you said. I don't know if I want to repeat it on air.
You don't have to repeat it. I just want to go see what I want to go remind myself what I said because I don't remember. So,
I will just literally, it has to do with like a lollipop and that motion and that
oh
action.
yeah. I
It's like,
got you
how many
now. I
licks does
know.
it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
Exactly. How many licks does it take to get to the center of Jake something? Because
Uh,
uh,
yes.
I
Again,
remember
this
now.
match was, yeah. So this match was. I thought the 10-man was chaotic. This was also kind of chaotic too. I was like, it was weird. I was like, again, I feel like if you just had Jordan, Eric Young, and Jake something, a
Yeah,
triple threat would have been fine. We didn't need Mr.
you're right.
Champagne Singh added nothing.
No,
Like he was a
and
non-factor. I was like,
he
okay,
was.
fine.
He really
And
was.
then
He really was.
Dango with Bravo, and then you have a returning Vladimir Kozlov. I forgot to write down his new Impact name, which, by the way, I'm happy to see about Adamir Kozlov in Impact. I was like, we're just bringing everybody from the old WWE days because him, Santino,
Wasn't it?
like he is
Wasn't it
still in
like
great shape, and he.
what? Wasn't
I
it
mean, his
Brudius?
character in
Or
WWE.
they said
Oh
it.
my goodness! You know what? I forgot to write it down, and now it's gonna bother me. Bad podcasting, but I'm going to be Googling this while I express my feelings and
It
my
was like
thoughts.
Brew
But
something. Was it Broody? I don't know. So anyway, it went by so quickly, because he
honestly,
kind of came out of nowhere.
I was just like, all right, whatever. This is fine, I guess. Sure, why not?
No, this
Cool.
match was so. Yeah, you're right. I thought the 10-man or the 10-person one was chaotic. This one only had 5 people, and it was more chaotic than the 10-man. I mean, it was so. It was like it was all over the place, and there seemed to be no rhyme or reason to it. It was just sort of like it was like a free for all almost, but like a really
And
poor
again,
free.
yeah. And again, Fatal 5-Ways are supposed to be kind of chaotic because you have 5 people fighting
Well,
each
yeah,
other.
but it
But
was
if you're
like
gonna have 5 people in the ring, like at least let them all be on the same level, I guess, because
yeah,
Dango and and Singh didn't really need to be there. You could have just had this as a triple threat between the 3 people that did all the heavy lifting in this match, which was Jordan, Eric, and Jake. And I will say, I was like, I commended the boys. I was like, you know what? If I were in your shoes, I would immediately neutralize Jordan Grace too, because I know she's gonna kick my ass. Like I
yeah.
know
You're
she's
not
gonna beat
kidding.
me down later. She's gonna beat the bricks off everybody. So we need to get her out of here.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, I
I
found
was
the
like,
name. So, oh, I hate this name. Oh my god, now it's coming back to me. Oh my god, I forgot how much I hated this name. So, Vladimir Kozlov, but WWE owns the copyrights to that, so we can't use that name. But his Impact name is Oleg Prudius. I was like, I was like, no wonder. I was like, I hate this name. I
oh,
hate it with
that's
a
it.
burning passion now.
That's what it was.
Oh God, I regret looking this up, but Yeah, he ended up being the winning factor here for Dango of all people because he takes out Eric and Champagne Singh, which allows Dango to go head first into Prudius, and then they capitalize, and then Dango pins Jake for the win. So, in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory, Dirty Dango's entering in the number 20 spot, and Jake has to enter at number 1. So listen, I would love for him to be the Iron Man and to like win this whole thing starting from the number 1 position.
which would be awesome. And who knows? You know,
I,
maybe
I'm
this is a
upset. How
setup.
dare they
I don't
do this
know.
to my man? How dare
Yeah, I
they do
know.
this to my man?
I know. And I was like, Dango, what? What? I was like, really? Out of all those people, that's who wins? I was just
In a
like,
weird, yeah, in a weird way, I would have been more okay with Champagne Singh taking that spot just because I was
me
like, that would be
too.
hilarious. Then I'm
Yeah.
like,
Just,
Dang,
yeah.
listen, Dango is. I'm having a really hard time trying to understand his character. Like when he first got here to Impact, and he was being over the top as Santino's like right hand deputy sheriff when he was investigating who was attacking all these wrestlers. That was funny, and that was good. And then the switch flipped once he got found out that Dango was the one attacking all these wrestlers. And I hate his character right now. I hate it so much. And it's not even like, oh, you're a bad guy. I'm supposed to hate you. I'm like, I just hate your character in general. It's boring and stupid.
Yeah. He annoys me. And not like in a good way annoys me. It just annoys me. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I just literally can't believe he won that match. I just truly. And I mean, he wouldn't have won the match had whatever his name is now had come in, had not come in,
Seriously.
like did what he did. Because I'm just
we
like, that's all right. That's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Moving on. Yeah, moving
move
on.
on. So Jake literally has a long road ahead of him in that Call Your Shot Gauntlet because he's going to be starting the match at number 1, and then we'll see what happens with it.
I will say, real quick, as we move forward, the next segment actually made sense.
Oh my god, it was great. So let's
This,
get into
yeah.
something we actually like. Because listen, the first 3 things we talked about, I was like, questions, it was rough. Actually, no, the tag team championships match was actually really good. That was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. I
That
enjoyed
was good.
that. But then from Kenny King onwards, I was just like, okay.
I don't know what's
But then
happening
we
right
got back to the
now.
good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this little vignette with Crazy Steve.
Who
Listen,
I am loving,
I
by the way.
this we talked about this last week. Like the biggest complaint we had about the segment last week is that Crazy Steve didn't even get to talk at all
Yeah,
during that whole in-ring segment. And now I was like, let Crazy Steve talk. And sure enough, they listened to us apparently because they
here he
allowed Crazy
comes.
Steve to talk in this vignette. This was fantastic.
It was.
Literally, it was so good. Literally be like, Tommy Dreamer, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. And then Black Taurus. I was like, and I loved all the little video clips they were showing, and you know the great thing about this is it was so cool because we were kind of seeing Crazy Steve's sort of like origin story happening, and I really liked it. It was because it got he got a little soft in there when he was talking about when we did this and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. And then he turned again. It was really good. It was like this was great character storytelling. And it was like, oh, this makes sense to me. This actually makes sense on the way to Bound for Glory. This makes sense. Look. Then so I finally thought we were back on track. I was like, oh, finally.
Which is weird because you would think with this building, it's like, oh, we're going to get this match at Bound for Glory. Impact, I love you, but I'm going to keep saying it again. You need to stop telling me the matches that we're getting, like in the Fallout tapings, where it's like after the pay per view, because we got the announcement that it's going to be Tommy Dreamer like defending that digital media championship against Crazy Steve at one of these Fallout tapings. I was just like, listen, I'm actually kind of here for it if Crazy Steve wins. But it's
Yeah.
like, stop telling me what matches we're going to be getting in the Fallout. I want to be surprised. Damn it.
All I know
Speaking,
is Dreamer
yeah.
better not win that damn match.
No, if not, I may or may not be like, I need
I'll
to.
have
I need
some
to think
words
about
to
my.
say. I will have some
Yes,
words.
but and we'll save the spiciness for the pay per view. I can't wait. Uh, Speaking of having some words, Mike Bailey throws out a challenge, which was also great in this little backstage thing. Speedball Mike Bailey just literally goes to be like, "I will fight anybody right here, right now, next week. Come meet me in the ring." Bye. I was like, "Yes, this is what I want."
Yep.
$5 says it's
And
Jonathan Gresham, but you know what? I'm cool with it.
which would be cool. But I didn't they announce who it would be?
Did they? Hold up, let me check my notes again.
I thought they did. I thought they in one of the cards. I thought they dropped a card.
Well, I know he's fighting Will Ospreay at Bound for
No,
Glory.
it was somebody else. Oh yeah, it was Del Sol or Samurai Del Sol.
Oh my! Oh, that's right, huh? Oops.
Yeah, that's who he's
How did I
fighting
forget
next
to write
week.
that down? Honestly, though, that match is gonna be great.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was.
So
It popped up at right before main event. I think it popped up, and it was really quick. I mean, it came up really fast. If I hadn't been watching it, like actually watching, I would have missed it. But yeah, it was Samurai Del Sol.
okay,
Because
okay,
they
that
were
makes
like, "Oh
sense.
yeah, so and so stepped up and said they would do it," and it was like Samurai Del Sol, and they showed the two of them next side by side
Oh,
for
that
next
match
week.
is gonna slap. I'm so excited for that one.
Yep.
So again, these next two segments were great, and
Mm-hmm.
then things kind of got muddied a little bit.
Just a little
Because
bit.
immediate, just a little bit. Because well, actually, no, things get muddied after this match because this match was actually a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So we get our first official knockouts match with Courtney Rush taking on Tasha Steelz. This match was banging, and
It
honestly, this was
was.
probably my match of the night.
This was mine. It was mine for sure. I thought this was so good. I was messaging you about this one.
Listen, first and foremost, I just want to say the Death Dolls entrance music is it slaps really hard. I love
I
it.
love the Death
I love
Dolls.
that.
God, I love
I
them.
love the begin. Again, anytime you can make like the little nursery carousel sounds, like be so creepy
Just creepy
and
as hell.
everything with it, like it is so good. And then the fact is like the imagery of like the broken dolls in the background, and then they have like the cartoon picture of the Death Dolls, like of
I
Jessica
love
and Courtney in Death Doll art form. And I love it. Is it's like it builds up and literally you want to scream Death Dolls like when they say Death Dolls.
Yeah, Death Dolls. Death Dolls. Yeah, I do too. I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Loki, I
this was a
want them to actually make the Death Dolls as plushies
they should. Oh my god, talk about the
again.
merchandising. Man.
And
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
one half of the message you sent me.
yeah.
And then the second
Yeah.
half is like the Puerto Rican is in the house.
It's like, look at there. Yay. I'm always excited when our Latinas come to the ring because Latinas they will kill you. They will kill you. They are frightening and they are beautiful. They will lure you in like a siren of the seas, and then they'll shank you in the back. And I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
Yeah.
This was such a good match. This really was such a good match. And
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
Deanna as well. Deanna Parazzo, I absolutely love. I do.
Man, this was a good back and forth because I was expecting like this to be a squash match. but it was actually pretty good back and forth. Now, of course, ultimately Tasha does pick up the victory here by doing, oh my god, her cutter as the finisher. Oh my goodness, man, like that was brutal looking and it was great. I'm
Oh, it
just really
was.
excited. Yeah, I'm really excited for Tasha and Deanna to take on MK Ultra for those tag titles at Bound for Glory. Like, oh god, this is gonna be such a good match. And and again, like this, and then the last two segments we had, I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe Impact's gonna be on the up and up, and then everything's gonna be cool. Then this is where things kind of get messy because okay, so like we get this quick vignette of Josh Alexander, who listen, I love me some Josh Alexander as an in-ring person, like in-ring talent, and also just this whole motion with my hand is just like, yes, hi, love me
The
all those
aesthetic.
tattoos, yes,
Hmm.
big boy. Um, and then we get into this weirder recap because Josh Alexander and the Motor City Machine Guns teamed up at a New Japan event where they came up short to win the New Japan Open Weight Six-Man Tag Team Championships, I think is the official title for it, with Alex Shelley getting pinned in that match, which is really weird because like in the context of the universe of Impact Wrestling, it doesn't really have any bearing of what's happening in the Impact universe. I just felt it very weird that we got that little video vignette from that New Japan event, and I was just like, it didn't really add much. And if anything, I was like seeing Alex Shelley get pinned, and I was just like, I don't think that does anything for him as your champion going into this match against Josh
Mm-mm.
Alexander at Bound for Glory. Like this was weird.
Hmm. I agree. It was again. I was just like, I don't why did we already knew all that? That was what's so funny. It's like we already knew that. Give us something new, you know. Give us something else. Because I was literally when they were going through it, I was like, yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know that. So, oh, okay, that's it. That's all you're gonna give us. Okay, we're like, all right, never mind then. I guess that's all we get. So it was just weird.
Sure,
It was,
okay.
that's weird.
And
Like most of it.
honestly, that was a little weird, but we still talked about it. I don't really want to talk about this next segment, but it was a thing that happened. So we go backstage, and then Bully Ray and Steve Macklin are like trying to kill each other. Um, again, I thought we buried this feud, a couple months ago, but apparently they still have unresolved feelings towards each other. Um, what I don't understand is why are Bully Ray and Steve Macklin having beef with each other? Macklin, your opponents at Bound for Glory are PCO, Rhino, and Moose, and none of those three men were seen on this episode of Impact. That's what that's what bugged me. I was like, so why is Bully Ray and Steve Macklin fighting backstage? Okay, fine, whatever. I don't freaking know anymore.
No, it didn't make any sense. Again, here we go. He's like, "Oh, did you call me soft? Oh, and then did you get into the ring and call me soft again?" And he's all Macklin's all like, "Yeah," and Billy Ray's like, "Okay," and then he walks away. What? I mean,
Listen, I would have taken the he walks away and then comes back and like starts beating up Steve Macklin. I was like, okay, you know what? I can understand that,
I would have been there for that. Yeah, absolutely.
but
It
that's
just
not
didn't
what we
make any
got.
sense.
That's not what
No,
happened.
not at all. Nope, not at all. What we got was not that.
Something tells me that
So
Bully Ray is going to make it. He's going to rear his ugly head in this monster ball at Bound for Glory or something. I'm just like, oh boy, here we
I
go.
think he's gonna.
I can see the
I think he's gonna be an interference.
yeah, he's going to cost Macklin the win or something.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. He's like, oh, who's soft
Ugh.
now, bitch? It's like,
Oh my goodness. We love a misogynistic like feud. That's always such a great idea. Not
nope.
literally. what I could see this feud being is like literally they're having a pissing contest. Like that's literally how can we one up each other, and literally who's is bigger. I was like, really? Is this what we're going up? Fine, sure, whatever. I'm like, I hate
Mm-hmm.
that is the type of feud I hate the most in wrestling is literally having a pissing contest to see who's the biggest or who's the baddest. I was like, no, I hate those types of feuds. It's horrible, and I'm not here for it.
Me either. So stupid. It's just like,
Right.
so yeah,
It was a
crazy
thing.
weirdness.
And then, oh, for sure. And by Connick's audience, you might be wondering to yourself, Mikey and Will, we're like 40 minutes into this video. What do you mean we're about to get to the end of it? Like, what happened? I was like, let me tell you what happened. Because literally, we spent like what, like half an hour pretty much almost? Like, this match went on for 30 whole ass minutes, and this was a long time. We got like 3 or 4 commercial breaks in between. I had to pause to go to the bathroom. But literally, this episode went by so fast because a good chunk of it was spent on our main event, which is a 2 out of 3 falls match between Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian. And God forbid, please let this be the final time that these two face each other for now. Because, listen, we here at Table for Two plus you, me, Will, and Andrew have all expressed in some extent that the story for this has been dragged out way too long, and this is a feud that nobody really wanted, asked for, or cared about between the three of us. But here we are, the final chapter. God, I hope it's the final chapter. Please let it be the final chapter. I don't I don't want this feud to continue. This was finite for me. I want to start off with some positives though, because I really actually did enjoy a lot of this match. I think if this was the match that we've got at Slammiversary instead of everything that we actually got at Slammiversary and afterwards, I would have been okay with it. But this is not that's not what we got, so that's neither here nor there. I thought this match was really, really fun. There was a lot of fun stuff. I will agree that the first 2 falls were kind of slow. And once we went into sudden death mode with Last Man Standing, is when everything hit the wall and both men decided to try to kill each other. And that was a fantastic third of the match when we got to the Last Man Standing portion. The other 2 parts were not, they weren't terrible, but my biggest complaint with this match, I was like, did we really need to give this match like 30 whole minutes? Like, this was a long match. And I'm like, most big pay per view main event matches don't even go 30 minutes.
Yeah, this went. I think I even messaged you several times about how this went on way too long. I mean, it went on way too long. The first 2/3 of the match were so just, it was, and it really, you're right, it really didn't get interesting until after the second pin, or after the second out, the submission one.
Yeah,
And
so once we got the second fall, then when they were
then,
tied, then things got interesting.
then it got crazy. It's like, why wasn't it this crazy from the beginning? I mean, I don't know. It was just, and you're right. I am so tired of this feud. I'm getting to the point where I don't care anymore. I'm just like, but I don't necessarily think it's the end because, and then my reasoning is because when uh, Frankie put Alicia through that table, Eddie is not going to stand for that. Like something's going to happen.
Oh my god.
You know it, because then she's going to be all like, "Did you see what he did to me? You're going to let him get away with that?
No.
It's never going to end because it's a feud. It's not a rivalry. It's a feud, and feuds they literally never end until someone is gone."
William, don't put this out in the universe. I don't want this.
I don't want it either, but I'm telling you, this is a feud, not a rivalry. And it's literally going to be there until one of these men, or even or whatever, somebody has to go away. Trust
I
me, I
mean,
don't want to.
yeah, I I don't want that out in the universe. But ultimately, to summarize what happened, Eddie Edwards gets the first fall, Frankie gets the second, and after both men decimated each other in the last man standing portion, Frankie barely beats the 10 count but is declared the winner. So the winner of this match, and hopefully letting this be the final chapter in this stupid long ass feud that we've had, is Frankie Kazarian. And that's how we end Impact this week. God, please let this be the end of it. But
I don't know.
again,
I'm telling you.
yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna be the end. I think
I
it's.
know.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a feud. It's not a rivalry. And now that Frankie put Alicia through that table, I guarantee you, Eddie's gonna come for him somehow, some way. Eddie's gonna come for him because we all know how much we all know who wears the pants in the Edwards family, and it's not Eddie.
No, no, it's not.
And
Oh my
Alicia is like.
goodness.
So anyway, yeah. So I mean, yay, Frankie finally won. Actually beat Eddie. Like finally, like Eddie can't say that he didn't beat him because that's all Eddie's been doing is like he did not beat me. He did not beat me, and now
This
he
was the
has.
definitive win here. Yeah. This was
So maybe,
definitive. Like,
maybe Eddie will go off and lick his wounds, and this will be the end of it. But I don't think it is.
I don't want it. This
Guarantee
has
you
been like
at the go home
this
show.
has been like 4 months. I don't want this anymore.
Nope. I don't either. But I think something's gonna happen next week. I think with these guys, something's gonna happen. I don't know what, but I'm feeling it in my bones. So maybe something will happen and at the go home show, and that'll be the end of it. I don't know, but it's
I don't
not.
know,
I
man.
don't think it's going away. I don't. I hope it does because I'm tired of it.
Me too.
But
I'm so over it.
huh?
All right. But I mean, like I said, that match is how Impact goes off the air this week. The last thing we have to do is our final rating. So I'm going to use the out of 10 empanada scale. I hate to do this to Impact because I really, really love them for the most part. But if I had to be objective for this week alone, I would give them a 4 out of 10 empanadas. Just because the thing that dinged the most points is that this felt less like a build towards Bound for Glory and not even like a standard Impact episode where, we're building towards like something that is not the big four pay-per-views. Like, the pacing was weird. A lot of stuff happened that did not add to anything that we're getting at Bound for Glory. And it was just a lot of questionable stuff, like from Kenny King to Kylin King to that fatal 5-way match. Like, everything was so weird. And I was just like in Bizarro World the whole entire time. And then this
Mm-hmm.
main event, while it was a lot of fun, it went on for way too long. I feel like we could have cut like 7 minutes off of it and we would have been fine. But this felt less like a build towards a pay per view and more so like, and I hate the term because house shows are important, but this is like literally a compilation video of like random moments in Impact kind of thrown together and called it an episode. I was disappointed, and that's why it gets my rating of 4 out of 10 empanadas.
That's okay. I'm right there with you. It was a 4 out of 10 for me too. I literally was like, I could not have watched this episode, and I'm pretty sure I would not have been lost at the go home show. I'm like, truly, this is like one of those episodes that just shouldn't have happened. if you want, if you're a sci-fi nerd out there, this episode would be Star Trek Five. It would. Completely bad and unnecessary, and because it didn't push anything forward, it already told us things that we already knew, and so it was like that's why the whole Rascals, the tag team, even though it was a great match, it was pointless. I mean, it was pointless because we already knew. So it's like, why did we do this? Just because you already had it recorded? Just because you have it doesn't mean you should show it. And yeah, that whole Eddie Frankie match, and we said this before, it went way too long. 2/3, they could have cut 2/3 of it and just given us the last part of it, and I would have been like, yay. So I am also 4 out of 10 because it was just, and the fatal 5-way was just awful. So yeah, 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Sadly, I don't like to do that either because I love the Impact stuff, but this was just a throwaway episode.
Yeah,
and I hate to say that
was.
These people work so hard, but it literally was a throwaway episode, which makes me worried about the Go Home show.
I know, and the crazy thing is that I won't be here for the review, but I'm still gonna watch it. But like, I'm worried for you and Andrew to have to review that because it's like, oh my goodness, like, and again, I'm excited for all the matches we're getting at Bound for Glory, but it's felt like there has been like little to no build towards any of the matches that we have, and it's crazy to me. But
yeah.
I mean, we'll have to worry about the Go Home show next week. So, with that being said, that unfortunately brings us to the end of another Table for Two plus You review. This one was a little more somber, but you know what? We take the good and the bad with our wrestling, and we're going to give our honest opinion. If you want to see more honest opinions, you should check out all the reviews we have here on the YouTube channel, ranging from the weekly television shows and the pay-per-views, because we give our positives and our negatives. Like I said, we are honest. If you want to be notified when all these go live, you can check us out at BC WrestlePod across all the social medias. Now we have a link tree, so every time you visit us on social medias, you click that link, you will get access to where you can find us all over the internet. It is a great tool. And if you want to hear more unhinged opinions, make sure to check us out where podcasts can be found at the Biconics Wrestling Podcast, where we talk a lot of smack about wrestling, and it is a great time. But this has been Mikey. Joined with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Will. And until the next Table for Two plus You review, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and stay biconic, you beautiful bastards. But until the next review, we'll see you later.